Welcome back to episode 2 of The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Episode 1, thank you to Sean Post once again for kicking off a brand new podcast, bringing on some good knowledge, bringing on some good stuff. But, of course, we got to go back to where it all began. We got Tom Crane back. Tom, say hello to the pretty people once again.
Hello, pretty people.
Pretty people. Anyway, off to a great start. So, a lot to talk about over the weekend. We already have the NFC, AFC championship games, how good those were. Pretty exciting stuff. I mean, the best 4 offenses are left. So you have New England, Kansas City, New Orleans, and the LA Rams. So I think it's chalk, 1-2 versus 1-2, and then the winners go on to meet in the Super Bowl. Overall, I thought it was a fantastic weekend of football. You know, a lot of the teams, all the home teams basically covered their respective games. Philadelphia fought to the very end. I have a lot to say about that. We'll talk about that in a second. And then, of course, we're going to continue with the speculation. What is going on in baseball? Of course, Sean had brought up some good prospects there of where he could go. But, of course, Tom is more known for baseball, of course, being our baseball guy. So we're going to talk about that as well. Tom, did you have any New Year's resolutions? Did you have anything that you planning on doing this year in 2019?
Hopefully not drinking as much. It's one of my biggest things. And also trying to work out. And notice I said trying to work out because I don't know if I'm actually good at it or not.
There you go. That's interesting because I just got on this new workout fad. It's called Orange Theory. Basically, it's like a CrossFit, but not as CrossFitty. So it's a lot more weight, a lot more your body, and rowing, and it's fun. But I'm not going to quit the drinking. That's a little tough for me. That's I'm not going to lie. As I am drinking a great Elemental hard cider. Shout out to Elemental. I think it's in Seattle. They make these, so thank you. Blood orange cider. So this will get me through the rest of the podcast and hopefully through the rest of the night. Because I am on vacation tomorrow. I'm very excited going down to Fort Lauderdale, Florida to see the family. And then the younger sister of my girlfriend is getting married, so that should be fun. I know. So no pressure on me, though. I am still a good time away. So it's still good. But the teams that ran out of time this weekend, you got we'll start off with Kansas City and the Indianapolis Colts. That was a good game. 2 high-powered offenses. I thought the score would be a little bit higher. Maybe the first to 40 would score, but really it was the conditions for Kansas City being an outdoor stadium and, of course, Indianapolis being a dome team. It's not the most ideal for Indianapolis, and it showed early. They did not look effective. That defense was fantastic, and Patrick Mahomes, being who he's been all season long, was the big star on the night as the Indianapolis Colts fall to the Kansas City Chiefs 31-13. Patrick Mahomes looked pretty good on the night. Very much expected with his stats, 27-41, 278. Didn't throw a touchdown, but didn't throw a pick either. It was Damian Williams, the running back, who carried the team, and that's what you need in the playoffs. You're going to need a team that has the ability to run the ball. There are a lot of questions, obviously, with what happened with Kansas City releasing their running back earlier in the season, Kareem Hunt, and how that would affect the team. And it seems like it hasn't slowed them down very much, only to 31 points on the night. So 25 rushes, 429 yards, and a score for Damian Williams. Travis Kelce going for over 100 yards the night. Sammy Watkins also playing effective as well, being healthy finally. We know what he can be when healthy. Tom, what was this game like to you? Obviously, we had texted back and forth a little bit about this game. What was the good about it? What was the bad and any ugly from this game?
Well, the good really was Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City offense. Typically, when you see 2 teams battle each out in an open field, no dome or anything like that, you expect to see some compatibility. But with this, it just seemed definitely one-sided. Indianapolis, on their drives, they didn't seem as strong-hearted as they were in the previous game. One of the biggest things I saw was Andrew Luck, 3 consecutive passes that just kept on being blocked. Adam Vinatieri, this is my bad part, Adam Vinatieri missing a 23-yard field goal, which is just mind-boggling because next to Justin Tucker, who's Mr. Automatic, you have the great old man who's basically could punt circles around or kick field goals around you, basically. I'm just saying this for me, before that even happened, it just seems like that kick pretty much was what the Colts were, basically, and that was the ugly part. It's Vinatieri, one of the captains of Indianapolis, showed what the Colts were actually going to be, and they were ugly, just complete ugliness. So,
yeah.
Congrats to the KC.
Yeah, I mean, look, when you 40. By the way, Adam Vinatieri is so old. Just his career alone, which started in 1996, is older. His career alone is older than Patrick Mahomes. So that puts in perspective how old he is for his career, and how great he's been, how consistent he's been throughout his career. And yeah, you're right. I mean, there was the ability to narrow it down to 2 scores, and then Vinatieri just missed a 23-yard field goal right before the half, which would have made it a 2-score game. It would have kept them in it, had some hope, and clearly it was not the case. And you're right. That basically is what the symbol was for the Indianapolis Colts tonight. Just, had the opportunities, but just for some reason, this cold weather team, and just facing a defense that, quite frankly, is very good when it needs to be. It seems that Kansas City does step up in the playoffs so far. Again, only one test since they had the bye, but they're going to have a bigger test next week against New England Patriots. I think the bad, Sammy Watkins, yes, 6 catches, 62 yards, and when he's healthy too, he did lose a fumble, so that is what I'm worried about. He typically has one of the more secure hands in all of football when he's playing well. So it's just a matter of what that could look like. And the ugly, of course, it wasn't much of a game. This one, I expected this to go touchdown for touchdown most of the game, and then have someone score late, but it wasn't the case. 31-13. Congrats to the Kansas City Chiefs. In the Saturday night game, the LA Rams, the bright lights of LA, did not scare away the Rams as they defeat the Cowboys 30-22. A lot of this, and this is the good, this running back tandem of Todd Gurley and C.J. Anderson, and what a ride he's had this season. When the season started in the offseason, he was cut by the Denver Broncos, then go ahead and signs with the Panthers and gets cut there, doesn't play a snap for Oakland after he gets signed, and then he signs with the LA Rams as a safety blanket for Todd Gurley, and he has averaged roughly 150 yards so far in his 2-3 games that he's already played. So there's a lot of expectations there, and this is going to help Jared Goff moving forward. I think that's the key component in this game for the Rams as they move forward. And as for the bad, it's the Cowboys. I mean, you'd expect them to play better, but it's against a high-powered offense, against a team that knows how to get to Dak Prescott, forcing him into passes that he doesn't want to make. Overall, he was fairly effective, though, 20 of 32, 266, Dak Prescott on a score. It's just Ezekiel Elliott could not get the run game going with only 47 yards on 20 rushes. Tom, what are your thoughts on this game from Saturday night?
Well, the good, I'm going to go with the Rams' offensive linemen. They were incredibly dominant. They opened up huge holes against the defensive Dallas rush game, and what I'm seeing here is they had 5.7 yards per carry, almost bellies of dominance in this game. So, as you said, Todd Gurley, a couple people were worried about his cardio after being off for a couple of weeks, but C.J. Anderson stepping it up and both having dominant games. The bad part about this, I'm going to say this also, is the Dallas Cowboys. Jason Garrett, especially. It seemed like he was somewhat playing for his job because they did say he might get an extension afterwards. If you have not heard this, T.O. did say that he thinks Garrett should be out of there. He shouldn't be playing. I agree with T.O. I think that Garrett's time is actually up. You've won only, 2 playoff games in the past 10 seasons? I think it's time to go in a different direction for them. And then when it came down to the ugly, there wasn't too much ugliness in this game. It was just did McVay get too aggressive when it came down to the offense? Does a young coach need to pull back his emotions just a little bit, or do you think that it's the right amount? For me, I think he just needs to slow his roll a little bit, compose himself. It may be an exciting time, but just remember what happened last year and what happened to that. If he does not get his emotions in check, I don't think they'll make the Super Bowl.
That's fair. And again, the LA Rams, we will be playing the team we'll talk about in just a second. But going back to the AFC Sunday's game, the New England Patriots in the playoffs. I keep saying it time and time again, heading in, you'd think that New England Patriots team's wounded. They're not as good as they used to be. They have a 40-plus-year-old quarterback. He's not as good as he used to be, and that's okay. But they clearly showed that they have the best coach of all time in Bill Belichick. That's fine. He's been great. And it clearly showed on the very first drive of the game, New England had the ball and just drove it down this San Diego defense that's been fantastic all season long. And it showed early. That score was a big sign saying, uh-oh, LA is going to be in a lot of trouble if this is how it's going to go. And it basically went that way for the full first half. It was 35-7 at the half, 41-28 the final score. New England wasn't even close to being worried about what the score was late in the game. And so for the good New England in the playoffs, they are always good. They know how to prepare. They've been here before, and they know how to win. That's obvious. The start by the LA Chargers, this defense was shaken, did not know how to prepare for this type of moment. And heading into New England in the playoffs, it's not an easy place to play. For this team to go east, go to Baltimore for the wild card, and then go to New England for the divisional. They didn't stay in the area. They went back to LA and then went back to, which could have hurt them. And then the ugly was the score, obviously. 35-7 at the half in a divisional game where these are two of the best teams, and the LA Chargers was supposedly could have been in contention for the number one seed in the AFC. This was very ugly from the very beginning. So congrats to New England. Another huge win for Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, and that New England Patriots crew as they head to yet another AFC championship game, the 13th in Tom Brady's career. Tom, what are your thoughts on this game?
Well, if you've seen a couple of T-shirts, they have Belichick and Tom Brady on it, and underneath it says "Still in." And that's basically what Tom Brady and Bill Belichick pretty much go through each playoff time, especially the 8th consecutive time to go into the championship. It's basically they know where they're going, they have their mind set on it, and they're going to play like there's a chip on their shoulder, like they're being laughed at, like they're the Dallas Cowboys of championships. They're the America's team. The bad part of this game was the LA Chargers. They did not seem like they were confident. Philip Rivers going 0 for 8 career against Tom Brady. That is the ugly truth right there, is that Philip Rivers cannot beat Tom Brady. It's amazing that he has gone 0-8. He's not been able to do anything, especially with assets like when he had LT, when he had Junior Sue on his team, when he still had Antonio Gates in his prime. It was just bad performance, and I would even move it to ugly. Something to know about is that Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, during the third quarter, when they were up 35-7, they were probably thinking, hey, we're on to Kansas City. We don't need to worry about these guys. And that's when they started losing some points. So for them to actually think ahead, that's when they start losing. So make sure